Meeting of the Committee on Finance for the public briefing on the proposed 2024 budget of the Office of the President and the Presidential Management Staff, or PMS. And we'd like to welcome no less than our Executive Secretary, former Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin. Good morning, sir. Secretary Elaine Masukat from the PMS. And of course, also we have SDS Attorney Hubert Guevara, Deputy Executive Secretary for Finance Administration, Despa Mante Liberato. Morning, sir. Deputy Executive Secretary Desla, Annalisa Logan. Morning. Desga, Secretary for the Deputy Executive Secretary for General Administration, Naila Bainto Aguinaldo. Former Congresswoman. Assistant Secretary Al-Azri Muhammad Sali. Assistant Secretary Adrian Carlos Bersamin. Assistant Executive Secretary Gabriel Ignacio. Executive Director Ernesto De Torres for the NTF LCAC. And of course, Attorney Elaine, Secretary for Senior Undersecretary for the Presidential Management Staff, PMS. Attorney Adolfo John Robert Palatao. Attorney Crisostomo Beltran. Yusek Mark Cristeo Jimenez, Engineer Paul Pangilinan, Asek Kabugayan, Asek Tan, Asek Gatchalian, Asek Reyes, Asek Huang. From COA, Audit Team Leader Trabok, Audit Team Leader Potente, and Audit Team Leader Maga. Did I miss anyone, Comsec?
Every resource persons have been acknowledged.
Thank you very much. We'll turn it over to the Executive Secretary, Mr. Chief Justice, for any presentation you may wish to make, sir. Morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Angara. Just a short statement. I am privileged to appear before this honorable committee to present, explain, and above all, seek the members' support for the proposed budget of the Office of the President for fiscal year 2024. Our presence here is not just in compliance with the existing legal requirement for the Office of the President to present its budget before a co-equal branch upon which the power to appropriate has been conferred by the Constitution. Most importantly, we are here in view of the President's standing commitment to honor and respect the Congress as a full partner in promoting the people's welfare and upholding the nation's interests. I am taking this opportunity, Your Honors, to convey the President's standpoint on legislative relations, which is anchored on the faith that governance will be significantly improved if our branches will work together in moving this nation forward. In order for the Office of the President to perform its role and discharge its duties, we are respectfully requesting a budget of 10,707,927,000 for fiscal year 2024. That amount, if I may point out, represents a mere 1% of the proposed total national budget for next year. Nevertheless, we believe that it will be enough for the President to meet the exacting demands of being the head of state, the head of government, the chief architect of Philippine foreign policy, the commander-in-chief, as well as the chief executive, especially during these challenging times of rebuilding the nation from the effects of a global pandemic of a significant scale. As the slides that will be presented later would show, we are asking for a modest increase, but at a rate that is within the norm of previous fiscal years. The lifting of the pandemic restrictions provides an avenue for the President to conduct in-person affairs of the state. There are more meetings being now conducted, more presidential public engagements now being held. The Cabinet is convened more often. The consultations in Malacanang, befitting its role as the policy center, have become more constant and regular. The President's schedule and call sheets are full. The budget adjustment we seek also accommodates the logistical requirements of honoring invitations from foreign leaders to visit their countries, as well as diplomatic initiatives which would yield job-creating investments that will hasten our post-pandemic economic recovery. It is also the most opportune time to revive the implementation of necessary infrastructure works within the palace complex that have been stalled due to the pandemic in support of the Build Better More priority program of the President, as well as to safeguard the overall security of all those who work hard for the attainment of the objectives of the presidency, taking into consideration the Philippine Green Building Code. Your Honors, before I present the charts that explain our proposed budget in detail, let me just point out that we crafted this budget within the parameters and processes set by the DBM, from which we sought no special treatment. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any other presentation from the OP or the PMS?
Good morning, Your
yeah.
Honor.
The,
I will be doing the
Desma,
presentation.
go ahead, Desma. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The presentation consists of a brief summary of the financial performance of the Office of the President for fiscal year 2022 and for fiscal year 2023, as well as a presentation of the salient features of the fiscal year 2024 proposed budget of the Office of the President. For fiscal year 2022, the Office of the President was given a total allotment of 9,866,832,000. This total allotment consists of the appropriation for the year 2022 and the continuing appropriations which came from the unexpended balance of the 2021 appropriation. Out of this total allotment available for expenditure, the amount of 8,209,347,000, or equivalent to about 83.2%, was obligated. Out of this obligation, the OP has paid the amount of 8,061,949,000, or equivalent to 98.2% of the total obligations incurred. For fiscal year 2023, Your Honor, the OP was also given a total allotment of 10,615,490,000, consisting of a current year appropriation of 9.139 billion and continuing appropriation of 1.476 billion. Out of this total allotment, as of August 31, 2023, 5.491 billion has already been obligated, and out of that amount, 5.104 billion has been fully paid, which is equivalent to 92.95%. With this, Your Honor, we are on track of utilizing the allotment given to us for the year. For fiscal year 2024, Your Honor, the Office of the President is respectfully requesting a budget of 10,707,927,000. The budget consists of the following allotment class. 72% of the total budget being requested is for maintenance and other operating expenses amounting to 7,746,977,000. 16% of it is also for capital outlay, amounting to 1,676,205,000. And 12% is for personnel services, inclusive of the retirement and life insurance premium, as well as pension amounting to 1,284,745,000. By appropriation source, Your Honor, the budget is about 10,645,573 coming from agency-specific budget, and only 62,354 comes from automatic appropriation. Insofar as comparison of the fiscal year 2023 GAA compared to the proposed budget for fiscal year 2024, we have the following variances, Your Honor. For personnel services, there was actually a reduction in the amount equivalent to about 18.6%, or an amount of 279,279,000. The reason for this reduction, Your Honor, is the reduction in the unfilled reduction of budget in the unfilled positions, and also the abolition of positions because of the abolition of the Office of the Cabinet Secretary, the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, and the abolition of the Office of the Presidential Spokesperson. For maintenance and other operating expenses, there is a net increase of about 810,436,000 of the allotment for 2024 compared to that of the 2023 General Appropriations Act. The net increase is attributed to the increase in the travel and representation related expenses of the President in order to honor commitments for local engagement, foreign state and working visits, and as well as accommodation of visiting foreign state leaders, ministers, and other dignitaries. This is, of course, owing to the fact that face-to-face engagement is already resumed. The increase is also inclusive of the projected rental requirements in anticipation of the reconstruction of the Mabini Hall building. And the other portion is for the projected increase in utilities, security, and communication services requirements of the Office of the President. For capital outlay, Your Honor, there is an increase of 1,085,411,000, or about 183%. The increase in capital outlay is attributed to the proposed renovation, rehabilitation of existing facilities within the Malacanang complex and in the Baguio Mansion, as well as construction of other support facilities. The increase also is accounted for by an increase in the allotment or proposed budget for the refleeting program of the OP in order to replace aging vehicles of the Office of the President. Insofar as automatic appropriation, Your Honor, there is actually no significant increase or decrease, and the pension is actually maintained at the same level. No. Overall, Your Honor, the increase of the 2024 budget compared to that of 2023 is 17.78%. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Adespa. Any other presentations?
Good
Mr.
morning.
Kaling. Yeah,
Good
go ahead,
morning,
ma'am.
Mr. Angara. We are from the Presidential Management Staff. We have the honor to present our budget for fiscal year 2024, which is in the amount of 834.382 million, which represents a 47.64% decrease from our last year's fiscal year 2023 budget under the General Appropriations Act. May I request ASEC Sheila Gatchalian to make our presentation for a more detailed presentation of our request to this.
Good morning, Senator Angara, the Executive Secretary in the PMS said. I have the honor to present the PMS budget proposal for 2024. My presentation will cover the context of the budget proposal, PMS accomplishments, and the fiscal year 2024 OPPMS budget for the National Expenditure Program. Per the Admin Code of 1987, the PMS is the primary government agency directly responsible to the Office of the President for providing staff assistance in the presidential exercise of overall management of the development process. As such, the PMS has the following vision and mission. The fiscal year 2024 budget also considered our organizational performance indicator framework, with focus on the three major final outputs, which are: first, provision of decision inputs for the presidency; second, monitoring and evaluation of and facilitation work on presidential priorities; and third, management of presidential engagements and provision of secretariat support to presidential bodies. Shown on the screen are the highlights of the agency's accomplishments under PBBM's administration from July 2022 to August 2023. On our financial performance, in 2022, we achieved 93% obligations and 88% disbursements budget utilization rates. As of 30 September 2023, the obligations and disbursements budget utilization rates are 38% and 88% respectively. We intend to improve obligations BUR and achieve at least 85% disbursements by year-end. Shown on the screen is the comparison of the fiscal year 2024 NEP budget vis-a-vis the PMS fiscal year 2023 NEP and fiscal year 2023 approved budget. The proposed PMS budget for fiscal year 2024 of 834.382 million pesos is 5.51% lower than the PMS fiscal year 2023 NEP and 47.64% lower than our budget under the 2023 GAA. Per allotment class, the proposed PMS budget is broken down as follows: 65% for maintenance and other operating expenses, 31% for personal services, and the remaining 4% for capital outlay. For appropriation source, the 834.282 million proposed PMS budget is broken down as follows: 97% for agency-specific budget, and 3% for retirement and life insurance premium. That ends our presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ASEC. I think that's it, no, from the executive side. Thank you very much for the presentations, and thank you, Yusek Elaine. Thank you, ES, for the kind words. And we thank you for really activating thank the President for activating the LEDAC, which has met several times. And I've had the pleasure of sitting in and really appreciating the work put in crafting a legislative agenda. No? So I think I've just been asked to manifest before we end is that the budgets of the following agencies have been submitted for plenary debates because of their compliance with the requirements asked of them. These are the agencies chaired by Senior Vice Chair Marcos, the sister of the President, National Commission for Senior Citizens, the Cooperative Development Authority, and the Climate Change Commission. Just a manifestation, Your Honors. But on our part, we're here to support. I think many, the Senate President, the Majority Leader, and my fellow senators are also willing to support the President. We know the demands of the job. the buck stops with him. So thank you very much for everything, and we're here to support if the demands are great. The disaster number of disasters has increased. The world is getting increasingly unstable. So di natin masabi ano mangyayari. So definitely it would be good if the country remains one of the stable oasis in the region and in the world. No, so we're here to support ES, Yusik Elaine, SDS. There are no colleagues. That means I think they have a vote of confidence in your budget. So we will favorably endorse your budget for plenary consideration. And if you give us the preferred schedule, we'll begin November 8th. And we know you guys are very busy. So you tell us when you prefer be scheduled for plenary consideration, and you will receive every assistance from this representation and the committee and my colleagues. So maraming salamat. Good day to all the. Please give our regards to the President. Maraming salamat po. Thank you. The meeting is suspended. Thank you.
Thank you.